Hello friends, welcome to CS in Best Way. Today in this tutorial we will discuss about exception handling in Python. So let's start. What is exception? First of all we will learn what is exception handling in Python, and then what is exception. After that, common exception in Python 3 and exception handling in Python 3. After that we will learn except keyword and its use in Python 3, and then we will learn multiple exception in Python, and after that we will learn how finally block works in Python 3 with the help of examples. So, and then we will learn raise an exception in Python 3. We will learn each of these statements with the help of examples. So what is exception? Exception can be said to be an abnormal condition in a program, resulting to the disruption in the flow of the program. Whenever an exception occurs, the program halts the execution and thus further code is not executed. Thus, exception is that error which Python script is unable to tackle with. Exception in a code can also be handled. In case it is not handled, then the code is not executed further and hence execution stops when exception occurs. So what are the common exceptions in Python? There are zero division error exception, and then name error exception, and then indentation error, and then input output error, and the end of file error. What is zero division error in Python? So it occurs when a number is divided by 0. And then what is the name error exception in Python? It occurs when a name is not found. It may be local or global. So indentation, if incorrect indentation is given, it means when you give incorrect indentation. For example, if you are writing for loop and then you give spaces more than 5 or 5, you give 5 spaces. Okay, in this case this exception may occur. So IO error, it occurs when input output operation fails. So the next one is end of file error. It occurs when end of the file is reached and yet operations are being performed. So what is exception handling? The suspicious code can be handled by using the try block. Enclose the code which raises an exception inside the try block. The try block is followed except statement. It is then further followed by statements which are executed during exception. And in case if exception does not occur, then that will be executed. So let's take a little example. Try, and then let's declare an variable a, assign it value of, for example, 19, and then let's suppose divide it by 0. Okay, and then print a. Okay, this is suspicious code, which means it will be checked if it generates an error or an exception. So we will use here except keyword and then exception arithmetic error. Arithmetic error. Okay, arithmetic error, and then we will print if this exception is arithmetic exception. So let's print the message for it. This statement arising an exception. Okay, so let's save it, and then if exception does not occur, then what will happen? We will write it in else. Okay, we will print welcome to CS in best way. Okay, save it and run it, check whether it's working or not. Okay, I'll move on my current directory where file is located, desktop. Okay, and then cd python, the python folder, and then what is the file name? Exception.py. Okay, exception.py. This is statement raising an exception. It means that it raises an exception, a division by 0, as we learn here in common exceptions. So let's divide it by 5 and save it. Let's check whether it's generating an exception or not. So you can see here it does not say more. This is statement raising an exception. So here this one is division by this, and the welcome to CS in best way, it is the message that we write in else block. If exception does not occur, then this will be executed. So let's go further. Okay, the next thing is multiple exception in Python. So how can we write multiple exceptions in Python that may occur? So paste it here, and suppose we have another exception we want to check for that, so we can write it in this way. Suppose we have standard error. Okay, standard error. Okay, in this way we can write multiple exceptions. Let's save it and run it, whether it's working or not. So save it and run it. Definitely it exception.py. Okay, this is statement raising an exception. So in this way we can write multiple exceptions. So the next thing is how finally block works in Python 3. So let's understand it. In case if there is any code which the user want to be executed, whether exception occurs or not, then the code can be placed inside the finally block. Finally block will be always executed irrespective of the exception, which means that if this exception occurs or not, if exception occurs, this is not printed. Okay, this statement will not executed. And if we have some code that must be executed, we can write it in finally block and then we can execute it. So in this way we can use finally block whether an exception occurs or not. So let's understand it with the help of example. For example, here I copy this and paste it here. Okay, save it, and let's write it here and finally. Okay, finally block, whether we will write this one and okay, save it. And this exception this will occur here, exception will occur, but this will must be executed. Here the code we can mostly write the most important code that will execute whether an exception occurs or not. So let's run it and check whether it's working or not. So you can see here this is working.